Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus went to the Mount of Olives, but early in the morning he arrived again in the temple area, and all the people started coming to him, and he sat down and taught them. Then the scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and made her stand in the middle. And they said to him, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of committing adultery. Now in the law of Moses, he commanded us to stone such a woman. So what do you say?" They said this to test him, so that they could have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and began to write on the ground with his finger. But when they continued asking him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Again he bent down and wrote on the ground, and in response they went away one by one, beginning with the elders. So he was left alone with the woman before him. Then Jesus straightened up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one come to condemn you?" She replied, "No one, sir." Then Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on, do not sin anymore." The Gospel of the Lord. Perhaps a more contemporary rendering of these two readings today from Daniel and from the Gospel of John alerts us to how destructive and even murderous we can be in the way we can destroy one another with things like Facebook and Twitter, and how the character of someone can be so vilely assaulted, even to the point of putting somebody into a position of depression and suicide, and we take no note of it. There's a caution here for all of us to be very, very charitable and careful about how we treat one another, especially with the use of things like social media. There's a caution here because there is indeed the possibility of grave sin. And I'm not saying that as a threat, but grave sin does not just condemn us to an eternal punishment, for which we probably would wish upon the one we're attacking, but grave sin hurts people. It destroys social settings and societies. Grave sin has a permeating destruction that really can't be undone in some cases. And so we must be careful about how we treat one another at a time when it can be very easy to be rash in judgments and assassinate characters, and where we would become the ones who might be seeking justice without realizing it. We may be executing murderous intent, but this is not what Jesus wants. He compassionately embraces this woman who has done wrong, and yet he absolves her, and he shows us the way to treat one another.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquam meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit.